Erev Tov, everyone. The parsha begins by Yitzei Yaakov Be'ersheva Vayelech Horono. Rashi is troubled, as are all the Mefarshim. What does it have to say by Yitzei Yaakov Be'ersheva? It should just say Vayelech Horono. We know that if he's going to Chor, leave Be'ersheva. So Rashi says on the basis of Chazal that when a tzaddik departs from a location, Oser Roshem makes an impression. Upon a Hodra, upon a Ziva, upon a Yofya. It's not as illustrious a place as it was before. So the Mefarshim all deal with it because somehow that's not the reality that we see in life. Tzaddik leaves a city, so everybody says goodbye, and the city remains a city. They don't feel that it's Pona Hodra, Pona Yofya, that somehow something has happened. So undoubtedly, we're talking here on a different plane. We're not talking on the plane of how the people in the city, so to speak, feel about it. They may not be disturbed at all. It may not make the Roshem to them. But there is a Roshem here. Ono Roshem, it makes a Roshem, so to speak, in heaven, supernatural Roshem. Chazal hold that the presence of a tzaddik is one of the great defense mechanisms that human beings have. Rashi quotes the famous medrash that as long as Meshuselach was alive, the Mabul did not come to the world, the flood did not come. Even though Meshuselach is not an active participant in the story at all. Noach is building the ark for 120 years. It doesn't say in the Torah anyway that Meshuselach held rallies or taught classes or published articles. But the presence of Meshuselach in the world was enough. A world that has a Meshuselach should not be destroyed. And that idea carried over. That's the story of the Ovos of Amram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. One person, one family, make such a tumult about one person. So even though to his generation, not everybody is so impressed, not the king of Sodom, not Avimelech, not Og, but the presence of Avram is enough to sanctify the land of Israel. That's the first occasion that we have in the Torah where the land of Israel is, so to speak, special. I'm going to give it to you and to your descendants. And because that was the koach of Avram's righteousness. And the same thing is true of Yitzchak, and it'll be true of Yaakov. So if Yaakov leaves Be'ersheva, It made an impression. Beersheba is no longer what it could have been or what it was, because Yaakov Avinu is not present there anymore. Shlomo HaMelech says in Koheles, Ir Ktana, that there's a small city, V'anoshim Bamot, and there are not too many people there. Rashi says, righteous people. And a great king came, and he besieged the city. And he was going to conquer the city. In the ancient world, when a city was conquered, so everyone there was either taken as a slave or slain. And Shlomo says that in the city, there was an ish miskein chacham. There's a poor person who was a wise person, a good person. Umileit hoish hazeh eskol ha'ir b'chochmaso. And through his wisdom, he saved the entire city. V'ish lo zochar. So ish miskein ahu. Nobody knows who he was. So before Shimon point out that Shlomo is reinforcing this idea. The city is saved because there's one person there that's worth saving. And that is, in essence, how one has to look at the world generally. We see that from Avraham Avinu with Sdom. Avraham Avinu doesn't justify the 3 million people who are living in Sdom. Sdom was the biggest city. There were 5 cities together. He doesn't justify their behavior. He just says that maybe there's 50 good people. Maybe there's 30, 20, 10. And the city is, the Sdom is destroyed because there aren't 10 good people. Not because there are 3 million bad people. The Gemara makes a cheshbon, and Lot and his daughters, that it adds, you didn't have 10. You didn't have enough. So the power of a good person is enormous. Because I'll say that when after the flood, the Torah teaches us that v'nirasa akeshes ba'onon, that the rainbow was seen. So the Meforshim ask, the rainbow is a natural phenomenon. It existed before the flood too. The breakup of white light into its components was a natural phenomenon from Maaseh Bereshis. So the Gemara says, famous Gemara, that when Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi passed away, so he came to Yeshiva Shalmaila. Now, in the yeshiva in heaven, they asked him, where do you want to sit? Because in heaven also there are assigned seats. Can't sit wherever you want. So he said he wants to sit next to Reb Shimon ben Yochai, the great Tana. So the Gemara says they put him next to Reb Shimon ben Yochai. So Reb Shimon ben Yochai asks him, who are you? He says, I'm Yeshua ben Levi. So Reb Shimon ben Yochai asked him, Anirasa hakeshes biyamecha. When you were alive, were there rainbows? So he said, yes. So he said, if there were rainbows, la vata, you're not Yeshua ben Levi. The Gemara says, Yeshua ben Levi just said it out of modesty that there were rainbows. Really, there were no rainbows So the Gemara derives from there that the tzaddik is the rainbow. The righteous person is what says the rainbow is the symbol that the world won't be destroyed. Even climate change won't destroy it. So as long as there are righteous people, that's the basis for the Jewish legend that there are 36 righteous people, that in their merit, all of the world continues. If you think you're one of them, you certainly aren't. And that whole concept that floats through Jewish thought, the power of a righteous person. Not that the righteous person is going to be a public figure. In the Hasidic world, he's always the least likely figure. He's the beggar. He's the tramp. He's the tzaddik. And because he's the tzaddik, so then the world continues. So that's an important lesson. That's what Chazal learned here from these two words, Hayetze Yaakov. Yaakov went out, made a roshem. A good person makes a roshem. So our task is always to try to be that good person that makes an impression and that advances the cause of goodness in society. Rabbi Chananya ben Akash Omer Rotza Kodesh Baruch Hu Uzako says Israel Lefichach Yirvolahem Torah Mitzvot Shenemar Adonai Chafetz Zeman Tzidko Yagdil Torah V'Yadir.